Good morning, everyone. We're day 31 hormone bootcamp. So, a couple things I want to talk about today. Number one, I want to talk about Bacopa Monnieri, which is the other Ayurvedic herb that I really enjoy. Yesterday, I talked about turmeric, and I think of turmeric as one of like the main Ayurvedic herbs that I use, for stress to basically help me regulate the stress hormone cortisol. The other Ayurvedic herb that really helps with that is Bacopa Monnieri. And again, if you have the Ayurvedic herbs that I listed under the supplies list for this week, that's basically what this is. So the second ingredient that you'll read in here, that's what that is. And Bacopa Monnieri, if you look it up, it's basically known to essentially improve cognitive function, memory, and a lot of other things, anxiety, reduce stress, and all these other things. But the way that I think of these Ayurvedic herbs is they're essentially adaptogens. So I show you the main adaptogen that I use is the Ganoderma reishi mushroom. This is one of my favorite adaptogens. These are, there's Ayurvedic herbs and then there's adaptogens. For the most part, they can be one and the same, slight variations, but really I think of these Ayurvedic herbs as cleansers, whereas I think of adaptogenic herbs as more nutritional foods, with also some detox capabilities. But some of these Ayurvedic herbs have like just a lot more detox potency. And so Bacopa Monnieri, I think it's a little bit less nutritional but a lot more cleansing. And one of the first times that I started, when I found this herb, the reason why how I came across it was when my body broke out in hives. Basically I had elevated liver enzymes, and so I was basically looking for something to help with that. And so this is one of the herbs that I found that was really good for cleansing the liver. And and like I said, the liver, if you're experiencing brain fog, if you're experiencing anxiety and things like that, the liver plays such a huge role in, all of those emotions. And that's why I found that, taking these Ayurvedic herbs, and especially Bacopa Monnieri, that's why I found that it really helped me out. So my lineup for today and really for this week, like I said, there's essentially 3 habits that I've been trying to get, show you essentially through this 6-week program. Number one is wake up and hydrate first thing in the morning, right? Hydrate meaning you're drinking at least, 1 quart, which is about a liter of water with the minerals, both the pink Himalayan salt and the magnesium with trace minerals. And that alone, there's so many people that, already have, shared their experiences with it, and they've had positive experiences. And really, it's just because minerals and water is like the first thing for digestion. If you've had issues with like constipation or bowel movements or things like that, this is basically what is going to help you push out stuff, out of your gut. Here's one of the things that a lot of people don't think about. If you have digestive issues, right, which pretty much everyone that has autoimmune conditions, that's basically what's going on. It's really gut issues, digestive issues. The way that I think about that is like, you just imagine, like, as food goes into your body, if that food doesn't come out, it basically begins to rot and go through abnormal fermentation. This is not the good kind of fermentation that you want. There's good fermentation, there's bad fermentation, there's good bacteria, there's bad bacteria. Good fermentation happens when you're growing, good bacteria, probiotics. Bad fermentation happens when bad bacteria take over, and it's usually because of bad food, junk food, dirty food, demineralized food. There's so many things that I can name here, but basically it's just that. It's food that your body can't digest. And as it begins to rot, that's the role that bad bacteria plays. It's not so much that bad bacteria is bad. Like, they're actually trying to help you out to clean some of that stuff out. But obviously it's not what you want. But anyways, so if you can understand that concept alone, then you can understand why I basically, this is my, like, my routine. Like, I'm sharing with you what I do, and trying to explain as best as I can why it makes sense to me. But because I understood that, that's why today and like this week, for week number 5, this is basically what I am doing to prepare for the final stage, week 6 of hormone production. And basically this week, what I am doing is I'm doing block fasting. So right now, my lineup for today is basically just water. I have water, distilled water. I have my minerals with me, although I'm drinking primarily distilled water throughout the morning. And I have my minerals for the mid-afternoon. And then I have my probiotics. And so, Sylvia, I don't know if you're going to be watching this live or the replay, but I'm going to show you my probiotics for today. So these are my probiotics, right? So these are just mango slices. I have goji berries and I have mulberries. Now, I have my other videos where I show you how I make probiotics, where essentially I take a capsule of probiotics and I just drop that powder into into basically coconut water, or you can just use like water and sugar and then some fruit. And that's basically what I use to maintain the culture. And so that's where I grow probiotics basically. And so every day I just pour half of that solution into this. And this fruit, one of the reasons why I like, adding fresh fruit every day is because it just tastes better, I guess. Because when you just make those probiotics like that, the flavor of it is kind of like beer-like, right? And I mean, essentially, this is technically like, I've talked about this before, but the word beer, all right, the only difference between the word beer and the original word that used to describe beer was ale, A-L-E. The only difference is that beer was essentially the product that was known to use the, it started with 3 ingredients, which was barley, water, and hops, right? At the time, yeast wasn't even included because they didn't even know that yeast was what was fermenting everything. But the word beer came about because, they wanted to know what was in these ales, right? Ales were used as medicinal, sacred herbal medicinal type of drinks, right? And that's why they were called ales. So this probiotic drink, it's really called an ale, right? It's a fermented beverage. If I were to put hops and add some sugar from barley, it's essentially beer. It's the same thing. I mean, you guys are essentially learning how to make beer, through this. And, what you're doing is you're learning how to grow good bacteria, good yeast. And that's basically what's in your gut, right? And so by learning how to do this out here, you're learning how to do it in your gut, right? The way you grow probiotics is you add water, you add minerals, right? You basically watch the temperature, right? Room temperature is where I leave all my probiotics. The pH, the bacteria will take care of the pH as long as, it has the, everything else, good clean water, minerals, and it's at the right temperature. The bacteria will basically take care of the pH. So let's see what else. And the pH will, lactobacillus, they, lacto, basically the name lacto comes from lactic acid. They produce lactic acid, so they do sour up things. And so the pH tends to go, down. It's a little bit more acidic, but that's basically what you want in your gut. That's the environment that you're looking to create, in your gut. So, essentially, so the way that this week is going to be looking for me is, because I'm doing block fasting and I'm drinking just water, my only meal for the day is essentially just a big meal. At night, I basically make myself a huge salad. I just go get some organic greens, either like a spring mix or like a protein greens or, something like that. And then I may add some I add some avocado, cucumbers. I add about, about a cup worth of berries, either blueberries, raspberries. Let's see what else. Yesterday I did some papaya. I do hemp seeds, and then I do oils. Oils are important. Remember, for hormone production, oils are going to be your best friends, because for hormone production, you need vitamins A, D, E, and K. These are fat-soluble vitamins. And so that's why you want to be adding a lot more fats into your diet, good, healthy fats, right? So for my salads, I do, either extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil. And then like the dressing that I got is basically that is like avocado oil with turmeric. And then sometimes I'll do maybe like lemon juice or raw apple cider vinegar, to go with that. That helps kind of like emulsify everything. And so that's my meal for the night. So it's very easy to digest. I will do some sort of a probiotic, fermented food, either like sauerkraut, kimchi, or, something else. I found like this really good sauerkraut with a red beet. That's also like really good. So that's what I had for dinner last night. And so I woke up this morning, hydrated, right? So already I'm empty again, right? I'm going to be crass, but you gotta like understand like where I'm at, right? So I already went to the bathroom, so I am empty, right? So the rest of the day, I'm just drinking water, and that water basically, because I am empty, just going in and just cleaning everything out. So remember, my big goal is I am looking to fix my leaky gut. Leaky gut means that I have some sort of like bad bacteria, something that colonized in my gut. And the only way that I know to basically, get rid of that or fix that is I just got to clean and sanitize the crap out of it. It's really the only thing that I know, because no one else knows. As a home brewer, if you ask anyone, how do you fix a spoiled batch of beer? No one has the answer. Everyone tells you, it's like, you just dump everything, get rid of any porous material, clean and sanitize anything that's non-porous, and just start over from scratch. Well, our guts are porous materials. I can't throw my gut away. So all that I can do is just clean and sanitize, clean and sanitize. This is what I'm doing this week. I'm cleaning and sanitizing. I'm drinking a lot of water. Bacopa Monnieri and all of these Ayurvedic herbs, they are cleansers, right? Adaptogenic herbs. This is a cleanser too, right? This detoxes you. It basically helps your body get rid of toxicity. That's the same thing, right? When your body is dirty, when your body is toxic, that's what affects pH. That's what creates an environment that allows bad bacteria to grow. And that's what I'm looking to change. I'm not looking to get rid of the bad bacteria per se. I'm looking to change the environment in my gut, because the way that bacteria work, okay, and this is the other thing that to me, it makes sense, just because it's what I saw brewing beer. I can have barley. And, let me put it this way. When I brewed beer, my goal as a brewer was basically to take barley, right, and get the nutrients in barley and basically digest the nutrients. I will take the proteins in the barley and break them down into amino acids. I will take the starch in barley and break it down into sugar. That's just digestion. And the way that it works in brewing beer is you soak the grains in water with minerals, right? And then the temperature, what temperature does is basically it wakes up the bacteria that releases the enzymes that digest these different food groups. So if I let the grain soak at 130 degrees Fahrenheit, that was basically the temperature where protein digestive enzymes become active. And that's how I would basically break down the proteins in the barley into amino acids. And I will do that. That's called a protein rest. I would do that for, however many minutes, 30 minutes or so, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And then I would basically raise the temperature up to about 150 to 54 degrees, depending on what kind of sugars I wanted to get out of the barley. And by raising temperature, basically what happened is that different bacteria would become active, right? Different bacteria would become active, and they are the ones that basically digest sugars for you. So temperature affects the type of bacteria that wakes up. So let me give you a different example of how that works in the body. When you have, people that have a low thyroid function, you've experienced, low body temperature. Low body temperature, what happens, when you get a cold is your body temperature drops. When your body temperature drops, that drop in temperature begins to wake up different bacteria, right? Like strep bacteria. And then you start to get that strep throat kind of itchy thing. That's because temperature alone affects the type of bacteria that become active in your body. And this is why I tell people that your body has basically all sorts of bacteria, good, bad, everything. Like, you cannot get rid of the bad bacteria. That's not how it works. How it works is it's the environment inside of your body that basically dictates what type of bacteria is active within your body. So again, the only reason why that makes sense to me is because it's what I saw day after day after day of me brewing beer. It's like, I just know how temperature, pH, the quality of water, minerals, or the lack of minerals, how that affects the type of bacteria that are essentially active in whatever environment, right? It happens the same thing in trees. If you take a tree and you don't water it, right? If you don't have the right minerals going into that soil, guess what happens to the tree? The leaves begin to wilt. The leaves begin to get, turn brown, get holes. That's basically what happens to, a lot of people, that they become demineralized. Their hair starts falling off. Skin starts getting dried. You basically start wilting away the same way. And it's because just what happens in the tree, that the bacteria in the soil, basically the good bacteria, weaken, and the bad bacteria basically begin to take over. That's what's happening in our bodies. The same thing is happening. That's why probiotics. This is why my main goal is to grow more probiotics in my gut and change the environment so that bad bacteria, whatever I have that is causing leaky gut, so that goes away. The second thing is that if you have a bunch of food in your gut, then it's just that much harder for your body to heal, right? Your leaky gut, or, whatever you may have, I'm just sharing what I have. Leaky gut, the way that I think of it, it's, permeability is basically like, your gut is like a sponge and has like these tiny little holes, and permeability basically, or leaky gut, is basically those holes getting bigger. And so what that allows is for undigested food to make it through the gut. And that's where you get all these allergic reactions, right? That's why I can sometimes eat food, and even though my body can digest food properly, if some sort of like bad protein, or a protein that was undigested, makes it through the gut, that's where you experience an allergic reaction. Allergies are nothing more than undigested proteins in the body, right? So that's basically what I'm doing. That's what I am working with. And so all of this phase, it's essentially designed to prepare my body for both food digestion, and then there's nutrient absorption. So I talked a little bit about this yesterday with turmeric. You can take like turmeric supplements. You can take, and again, I think of turmeric as a food, right? It's a root. You gotta eat, if you're gonna eat whole foods, you gotta eat the whole thing, root to fruit. Just like if you were to be, if you eat meat, that's an animal-based diet. You gotta eat the whole thing. A whole food is basically nose to tail. And that's where I think a lot of people are going wrong in either diet, is that they're not eating all the food groups that they should be eating. But anyway, so you can be eating those foods, and it's one thing for your body to digest, and then it's another thing for your body to actually absorb the nutrients, get the actual nutrients inside of your body. And in order for that to happen, you need certain nutrients, right? For one, you need all the minerals that I talk about. Then there's the, you have like your B vitamins, you need your choline, selenium. Like basically these are all essential, nutrients that the body needs, because they all work together, to basically bring stuff, into your body. So I hope that helps you, like me sharing what my daily routine is, but this is basically what the goal is for this week. Like, I know, I'm sharing with you what I do, and I know that many people are not really going to be able to fast all day and then just have one meal at night. But again, I'm sharing my journey. I'm sharing with you how I go about it. I'm telling you why this makes sense, why I do it. And, just basically allowing you to see my own changes as it happens. It's not a quick fix. I've been doing this since, 2012. I've been good. I've been bad. I've gotten off track myself. But all I know is that the more that I focus on this, the more that I do, these kind of, I guess routines or whatever, want to call them, the more that I optimize my diet, my beer diet, I guess, beer diet project's what I'm calling it. I have another way to describe it, but, the more that I do that, the better I feel, in general. I'm just, I can tell like my hormone production is up. Especially when I do my fat shakes that I'm going to be showing you, next week. I've already shared it in the past, but I'm going to be doing it all over again. And even that shake, like I'm actually going to make some tweaks and some improvements to it. But the more that I do that, I just feel better and better and better and better. And that's all that I want, for everyone who is participating, whether live or, watching the replay. And the biggest thing that I can, that I want to share with you is that if you get off track, you're not really getting off track. Really, you're just basically going to have to start over. But that's just it, is like you're just creating habits. And that's the thing, is like if you got off track, really what that means is that you just didn't do it long enough for it to become a habit. But that's why you can go back to week 1 and just start drinking water again. There's no reason why you shouldn't be waking up and hydrating every morning. Like that's just such a simple thing to do. But that alone, the more you do it over time, it is going to become a habit to where you're not even going to think about it. And it's just part of your lifestyle. And this is the same thing that happens when I teach entrepreneurship. Is essentially what I teach is I teach people how to create habits. First habit is you wake up and you do a gratitude journal. A gratitude journal is not just important for entrepreneurship. It's important for health. It's how I manage anxiety. It's part of it's part of my routine to manage stress. This is like the other side of the game that a lot of people don't talk about production, because everyone's so focused on, but they don't pay attention to other factors, lifestyle factors. What kind of stress are you being exposed to on a day-to-day basis, right? That's why, like yesterday, I loaded myself up with turmeric because I just went through a very stressful weekend, just shopping for, basically trying to buy a car. That was pretty stressful. And stuff like that happens, right? You have, problems at work, with business and with relationships, maybe, your health, maybe, you got off track. Maybe that's stressing you out. Maybe you're like beating yourself up and things like, oh, like I couldn't keep up. Don't do that. Like that's creating stress. But the way that you're going to take care of that is by creating a routine to manage stress, right? And that's actually what I'm going to be talking about after this hormone bootcamp. So I'm going to be teaching you that side, basically the mental side, the mindset side. That is so important. That's really what's going to help a lot of you that feel like you're falling or getting off track. That's what's going to help you stay on track and actually finish what you start. So stay tuned for that. I'm putting together a lot of, details on that. I have a lot of projects that are going on, but I'm really excited for, this one because I think this one's going to overlap with a lot of other things that I want to share, as part of, this, beer diet project that I'm working on. So anyway, so I hope that helps you out for, this week. Again, hold fast, stay true, keep going. If you feel like you've gotten off track, go back to week 1. Keep hydrating, and then just add the next, the next routine after that is start to do intermittent fasting. It costs nothing. If anything, it actually will save you money. Guys, a lot of people spend more than, like $5 just on coffee every day. If you start doing intermittent fasting and get rid of that coffee, you can start to basically prepare for the next phase, right? I'm telling you, the more you get around people who are on the same journey and you watch people win and succeed and get the results that you're looking for, that's what's going to drive you. So I hope that, so I hope you guys are seeing this, in action. I'm going to, I'm going to start reaching out to some of the people that are watching the replay, cause I'm starting to see some engagement there going on. And so I'm excited for, everyone who is really taking this, seriously. And again, my goal is to help 1,000 people. And I'm going to leave you with this, 1,000 people. That's a lot of people that I'm going to be out working, just by myself. But think about this. I've had so many people drop out of this program already. And just imagine if I were to be like those people that dropped out, And when I say dropped out, I mean like just completely like disappear. Like, like I don't know where they're at. I can't, get a hold of them. Imagine if I would just give up and disappear and just say, you know what, that's it. Like I tried this program and I couldn't help people. That would be very sad. But that's basically what a lot of, people are doing to themselves all the time, is they cannot commit to something. They cannot create a habit. And that's really what, that's really the main difference between people that, accomplish things in life, or, find, success in different areas of life. It's just basically becoming friends with consistency, with creating routines, and just sticking with, one goal at a time until you complete it. That's the biggest thing. It happens in health. It happens in business. It happens in relationships. That's the main thing that I hope you get out of this, right? That's why I said in the beginning, what I want you to get out of this bootcamp is the routines. It's the habits. It's not the supplements or, whatever strategies or things like that. It's the habits. It's the fact that I am going every day. Like every day I do intermittent fasting. I've been doing intermittent fasting inch by inch. Yes. Like just one step at a time. Every day I do intermittent fasting, and over time there's a compound effect, right? That just makes it easier and easier for me to basically stick with, with this, right? You start seeing results, you start getting excited, you start seeing other people get results, you start seeing other people go further, and you can say, hey, if that person can do it, I can do it. That's basically what I'm trying to do with this, by me doing these live videos, showing you in person that, hey, this is all I've got today. Water. This is all that I am drinking. I have no food with me today. The only food I'm going to be eating is at dinner. And I'm showing you this so that you see me. I mean, you can watch my videos from the summer. I've basically been showing you everything that I do, which has been just that. And, like I do a lot of water, a lot of liquids. And the reason why I wanted to show you all of that day after day after day is so that you can look and see, hey, if that guy can do it, I can do it too. That's basically all that I am doing. The most powerful force in the universe is compound interest. Yes, Albert Einstein. Those who know how to use it, they basically benefit from the results. Those who don't know how to use it, that's slavery, I think. But anyways, liquidarian. Yes, I'm essentially a liquidarian. That's a term that I just learned not when I started this journey, and I didn't even know that was a thing, but that's essentially it. All right. Thanks for all these comments, and I got to get going, but I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one.